Okay, folks, let's talk about level 3 of the Pyramid of Success. Level 3 talks about how we want to play the game. Remember, level 1 and 2 are core beliefs, and before you even get to level 3, you have to have mastered those core beliefs and talked about that. You know, the bottom level was the base: belief, accountability, selflessness, and enthusiasm. You know, you've got to believe. You've got to understand that you're going to be held accountable for your actions on and off the field. You need to be selfless, give more than you take, and you need to have enthusiasm. We want players where football is their passion and not their pastime. And then the next level 2 was commitment. You've got to make a commitment to this football team, to your teammates, to your coaches, to this institution, and you have to be all in. We talked about what commitment was. Commitment was being all in, not halfway in and halfway out. You're all in. And this is what I want to do. I'm committed to making this football team better. I'm committed to becoming a better football player. And that's level 1 and 2. Now level 3, once you've got those two down, and you really need to do that, you can't just go straight to how we're going to play the game. Because without commitment, without belief, without some of these core values, enthusiasm, selflessness, accountability, how you play the game, it's not going to hold up. It won't hold up in the fourth quarter in those tough games in a long season. You know, it's just not going to hold up. If you do have some of those things, you've got some players that buy into those core beliefs. Now, let's talk about how we want to play the game. Let's talk about the fun stuff now. You know, level 3 is all about what do we really want to do on the field? How do we want to play? What do we want to be known for? You know, when you look at this football team you're building, and right now I'm coaching linebackers and specials. So this is what I want when people look at these linebackers or these special teams. This is how I want them to see our kids play. There's 4 things. 1 is free your mind. 2 is play fast. 3 is it's all about the ball. And 4 is always compete. Let's look at those. Free your mind. Free your mind. Come Saturday, those players' minds need to be free. We've done all our thinking Monday through Friday. Even pre-game and Saturday, pre-game Saturday, we're thinking, and we're doing walkthroughs and pre-game and watching film and so on and so forth. But when we get to that game, your mind needs to be free. Okay, it's time to just react. Offense is action, defense is reaction. So I want their minds free. You can't overanalyze things on the football field. Stuff is happening way too fast nowadays. These spread offenses. Fast-paced offenses, they're turning it into a flowing game. Huddle's a thing of the past. We used to huddle up, used to have a timeout in between every play. You know, it was like a little timeout. You get to discuss things, and not anymore. It's go, go, go. So it's a flowing game, which means you have to have certain defensive principles about run fits and certain defensive principles about pass coverage and first step and key reads. And those principles need to hold up in everything you do, so we can line up and play fast. You need to know your assignment, your stance, your key, and your keys. So freeing your mind, part of that is the coach's job. That's my job. I need to make the complex simple. Nowadays, it's hard for a defense just to sit in one thing or even a couple of things. Offenses, you face so many different offenses. You almost have to be multiple. You have to be able to play some good zone, and you have to be able to play man. You have to be able to do line movement. You got to be pretty multiple to face an option team one week, a spread team the next week, an I-Pro team the next week, a split back team the next week, you know, a zone read team the next week. You've got to be kind of multiple. So your structure, your defense needs to all tie in, and you need to be able to make the complex simple. And that's really a coaching genius. If you can do that as a coach, you're on to something. If you can make multiple things that are kind of complex, if you could simplify it so those kids can understand it and just react, get out there and react, now you're on to something. Every time you make a guy think, you slow him down. Every time you can make a fast player really slow by having him think. You know, they have to know what they're doing. They have to know their alignment, their stance, their key, and their assignment. Alignment, stance, key, and assignment. Where do I line up? What kind of stance do I get in? What am I looking at? And what do I do on this defense? Where are my run fits and pass coverage? After that, you know, it needs to instinct. That's pre-snap stuff. Now it needs to turn into instinct. And if they're having to think as that goes on, you're not freeing their mind, and they're going to slow down. Every time you make a guy think, you slow them down a step. So I try not to take my fast guys. We did put a lot of work and effort into recruiting fast guys and help develop their speed and agility. And then it would be crazy of me to slow them down by having them overthink. So my job is to free their mind. They need to know their opponent and what we're doing so well by Saturday that their mind is free. If it's not free, I have not done my job. So free your mind is number one. Play fast is number two. They tie in. They go hand in hand. If his mind is free and he knows what he's doing, he's going to play fast. You know your opponent and know yourself. What are we doing on this defense? And what are they going to do? If we know those two things, his mind is free and he's just playing. And now he can fly around. He can fly around. And that's game plan stuff. That's what you do all week, you know, as a coach. You watch the film with the guys. You give them scouting reports. You go over your meetings with them. You practice their best plays. That's what you're doing all week. You're trying to free their mind. Come Saturday, you want it just to be instinct. You want if they hear a certain defense, and this is our run stopper defense. And they came out in their two-back. They like to run the ball in two-back. Coach called the run stopper D. Let's play the run. Let's go. Let's read. What am I looking at? Let's play the game. You know, so playing fast and freeing your mind go hand in hand. And that's how we want to play those two elements. The next is it's all about the ball. And that's defensive football. We want to get the ball back one of two ways. On a third, stop them on third and make them punt, or literally just take the ball away from them, get takeaways. But one way or another, we want that ball back. We want that ball back one of those two ways. So it's all about the ball. So stopping them on third down is big. Third down is big. You got to practice third down. Everybody in the country does. They do a great job of it. And then taking the ball away. We want to lead our conference in takeaways every year. If we're not leading our conference in takeaways, I'm not doing my job as a coach, and the players aren't doing their job as players. That's accountability. It's a two-way street. Now, how do I get them to do that? We drill it all the time. We rep it all the time. And I harp on takeaways all the time. Every single rep of film. If there's a takeaway attempt, I write that down, I chart it, I praise the guy for it, and we talk about it in the film room. And if there's not a takeaway attempt, I need to do the same thing. Why are we not punching at the ball? Why are we not stripping the ball? What do we do when you come in, you know, let's say we have a sack attempt, we're scrimmaging against our offense. Obviously you don't hit the quarterback, and I freeze the frame right before you hit the quarterback. I say, okay, what are we thinking now? And they should all say, hey, we're thinking of chopping at the ball, coach. We're thinking of punching that ball out. We're looking at the ball on this. A sack is a sack, but getting the ball changed the game, coach. Then I know they're starting to think right. So that takes a lot. You could work on takeaways in the film room. You really can. And if a guy does it, you got to praise him. And they don't come in just doing it. If you've got a freshman that comes in and he punches at the ball, or has the proper hand up when he's rushing the quarterback, you got a special player. You know, it usually takes about to the spring of their sophomore year before they instinctively put the proper hand up when the quarterback has the ball, punch at the ball on a running back, those kind of things every play. By the time they're a junior, that should be a no-brainer. It should happen all the time. And seniors, that's just part of their DNA. That's the progression. If I've done my job right, and if they've bought in and they're committed, and they believe in our system, you know, that's how the pyramid works. So the third thing is it's all about the ball, and then the fourth thing is always compete. And I think that's a big one. That's a big one nowadays, because sometimes, you know, competing isn't the most important thing in some areas, even in some sports leagues where they come up through Little League, and sometimes it's not the biggest thing in the world to compete. But it is where we are. It is in college football, and it is on our football team, and it is. I want to teach my guys to compete. I want them to teach them how to compete on the field. I want to teach them how to compete out in the workforce. I want to teach them how to win and how to get better when they don't win. You know, always looking to get better, always looking to compete, not being afraid to go after that job, not being afraid to go interview for that job. And we practice that on the field by competing in everything we do. We set up competition drills all spring. We had competition drills almost every day on special teams, and I put a plus or a minus for every player if he competed or he didn't. And the top 3 competitors got announced the day after by our head coach himself. He would call out their names, and we would cheer, and I'd give them a piece of candy or something, and just something to reinforce that competing is good. I want them to compete because I really believe you can outcompete your opponent nowadays. I think sometimes in football there's so many plays in a game nowadays that if things aren't going just right, your opponent sometimes will take that play off, and he'll just wait because there's another one coming. In about 30 seconds, we're going to run another play. So some guys, if it's not going right for them, they'll just take that play off, and that's where we can get our edge. I want them to compete on every play, every play, every game. Finish every play, finish every game, finish every season, man. Compete hard all the time. You can outwork your opponent. You can outcompete your opponent. Games go up and down. Momentum goes up and down nowadays with the points that are being scored. So one thing you can control is how do you compete. Is your mind free? Are you playing fast? Are you competing? Are you going after the ball? That's all stuff that we can control. And so if we can control it, let's do it best. Let's do it to the best of our ability. Let's chart it. Let's practice it. Let's emphasize it. And that's how we want to play. With a free mind, flying around the field, getting after the ball all the time, and competing on every play. Every fade ball that's thrown, I want that cornerback competing. And if he gets beat, I want the kind of guy that's out there that would say something like, throw that again, throw it again. If you throw that again, I'm going to win. And the same thing with linebacker. I want our linebackers, if we're manned up with a receiver, I want to man up with that receiver. And if he catches the ball on us, I want a kind of guy that say, as he's going back to the huddle, you do that again, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. Yeah, you're not getting that ball on me again. Because we have to compete. We're competing against guards who outweigh us. We're competing against running backs who are most of the time faster than us. And we're competing against receivers who are so much more agile than us. We have to have a competitive nature. We have to like to win. We have to like to test ourselves and just see, can I do this? Can I cover that guy? You're darn right you can. We've taught you how to do it. You're a good athlete. Now get out there and get after them. So on Saturdays, I want their minds free. I want them flying around. I want them getting after the ball and competing on every play. And if they've done that, then I've done my job. If they're not doing all four of those things on Saturday, I have to look here first. Well, what did I not do to free his mind? I might have had too much stuff on it. I might not have made it simple enough for him. I might not have explained it right. We might not have practiced it enough. But if they are doing those four things, why then let's let the chips fall where they may. And that's a little bit about level 3. That's how we want this team to play. Right now, that's how I want my backers and my special teams to play. If I was building a program, those are the 4 things that I would look for on the field when watching our football team. That's level 3 of the pyramid. There's 3 more levels to go. So I hope this helps. Thank you.